Negotiating, isn't just about contracts, government policy, and settlements. Life is full of everyday negotiating, like deciding who makes what for dinner and knowing your role on a group project.
Yeah, but sometimes that negotiation starts with conflict. Let's be honest, and without proper skills could blow out of control. Negotiation expert William Ury is the author of Possible: How We Survive and Thrive in the Age of Conflict. Not only has he consulted for the White House and State Department, but get this, President Biden spotted with his book tucked under his arm just days ago.
As he mentioned, perfect product placement.
Yes, it is.
William joins us now to share some of his expertise. First of all, welcome to the show.
It's a great pleasure.
Okay, we have to start with what we just saw. How does it feel to have the President of the United States reading and showing off your book?
Well, it felt surreal. I was actually speechless for a while. I was wondering if it was AI. But then when I realized if it was real, then I kind of felt humbled. And then I was delighted because I wrote this book to try and pass on what I've learned over 45 years of dealing with some of the toughest conflicts around, whether it's home, work, or in the world, and no better person to read that book than the most powerful person on the planet.
Yeah.
Absolutely, no doubt. Well, whether it's an issue with a friend, family member, coworker, what is the most important step when dealing with conflict?
Oddly enough, the most important step is to pause. It's to start by stopping. Because in conflict, we are our own worst enemies. You know, the old saying goes, when you're angry, you will make the best speech you will ever regret. You'll send the best text you will ever regret. So if you can just pause for a moment, go to a mental and emotional balcony overlooking that stage, and place of calm and perspective where you can kind of ask yourself, what do I really want here? Then that will serve you very well, because the foundation of every successful negotiation is to begin by stopping, breathing, pausing, and figuring out what you really want.
Okay, so we got that, but in these situations, how do you control your stress and anxiety and prevent yourself, as I like to say, going off?
From the earrings coming off, it's just like, okay.
Exactly. A friend of mine once taught me, pinch the palm of your hand. I said, why would I pinch the palm of my hand? I said, because it'll give you a temporary pain. It'll keep you alert. It'll just kind of remember you to ask, why am I here? What do I want? And that's the key question. And or it might be take a break. You know, ask for a quick break. I like to go for walks. You know, go for a walk in the park. Whatever lowers your stress. Have a coffee with a friend. Meditate. Do it. Whatever really serves you. Because when you come back, bring your best self to that conflict, because you're going to need it to be able to turn things around.
I noticed you didn't mention drink. That's probably not a good idea.
Drinking actually makes you think you're doing better, but usually it makes the other person feel you're not doing as well.
No, true. So even in compromise, it can feel like, you know, you lost because you didn't fully get your way. How can you avoid feeling unsuccessful?
Well, I mean, take an example. Imagine you asked for a raise and you didn't get exactly what you wanted. I'd say take that as an opportunity to say, okay, what do I really want here? Is it just money? Or is it recognition? Is it kind of advancement in my career or whatever? And think about, can you go back and ask for something? Maybe there was a budgetary limit on the amount of money you could give, which is why you didn't get as much of a raise as you like. But is there something else you can get? Or could you say, if I bring in an extra sale, could you give me a raise? Or could you give me a raise, a promise? In other words, treat it as an occasion to be creative and see if you can expand the pie rather than just accept something that doesn't feel good to you.
Sounds interesting. Okay, so if the entire relationship is challenging or conflicted, is there a solution, or do you just call it quits?
Well, you do want to think, actually, about, there's a very important concept in negotiation we call your BATNA. It's the B-A-T-N-A, and it stands for your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. You want to think through, what is that exit option? But some solutions, for example, are to listen. Maybe the most effective thing is just to listen not the usual way we listen, which is to figure out what's your best rebuttal. So in the other person's shoes, right? Figure out, what is it like for them? How do they see things? Because they're going to then feel a little more seen, heard, they're going to feel respected. and they're more likely to listen to you. So you can kind of turn that situation around.
And how can you transform a tough conflict, though, into a creative negotiation?
Well, I think it's by looking at our own inherent capacities, to find a place of calm and perspective within us, our own capacities to listen and be creative, and our own capacities to, sometimes we're going to need help from someone else. Maybe it's a friend or a family member, but someone who can help us calm down and help us build that golden bridge. The key thing is to make it easier for the other side. You want to make it easier for them to make the decision you want them to make.
Pause, relax, pinch the palm.
Yes.
Take your time.
Breathe.
All right, well, William, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your expertise.
It's a real pleasure, and I wish everyone much success in getting to yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And for more information or to purchase William's book, you can check out his Instagram page. The information is right there on your screen.